इन द ग्रास आर के नारायण। तो चलिए फटाफट जुड़ जाए सभी बच्चे। और आज हम लोग ये हमारा 11th क्लास का ये 3rd चैप्टर है और इसी को हम लोग रीड करने वाले हैं और बेटर वे में अंडरस्टैंड भी करेंगे। तो चलिए फटाफट जुड़ जाए सभी बच्चे। एक सेकेंड मैं शेयर कर देता हूँ, आप लोग भी एक बार शेयर कर दे। जो भी बच्चे जुड़ गए फटाफट शेयर कर दे मेरे बच्चे। चलिए आ जाइए फटाफट जुड़ जाइए। चलिए तो आज का हम लोग का जो टॉपिक होने वाला है आ स्नेक इन द ग्रास। तो आज हम लोग इसको सही से रीड करते हैं। चलिए पहले हम लोग देख लेते हैं हमारा ये स्नैक आ स्नेक इन द ग्रास आर के नारायण। ऋषिपुरम कृष्णस्वामी नारायण 1906 201, the Satya Academy Award winner in 1960, was one of the most accomplished and well-known Indian writers in English. Reliance, irony and humor are the distinguished strength of his works. He paints the idiosyncrasies of peoples with consummate skill. His works include The Guide novel, Next Sunday, collections of essay, and Lowly Road, collection of short stories, A Snake in the Grass, The Piece Taken from an Astrologer's Day, and other stories. Dramatically present the alarm and this household threatened by a cobra. The character of some of the people taking part in the hunt is dexterously revolted. Narayan also touches gently on the people's superstitions concerning snakes, an undercurrent of irony and humor marks many of his observations in the story. A snake in the grass. On a sunny afternoon, when the inmates of the Bangalore were at their siesta, a cyclist rang his bell at the gate frantically and announced, "A big cobra has got into your compound." It crossed my well. He pointed to its track under the gate and resumed his journey. Number 2 paragraph. The family consisting of the mother and her 4 sons assembled at the gate in great agitation. The old servant Dasa was sleeping in the seat. They shook him out of his sleep and announced to him the arrival of the cobra. "There is no cobra." He helped and tried to dismiss the matter. They swore at him and forced him to take an interest in the cobra. क्या मेरा आवाज़ क्लियर जा रहा है? एक बार सभी मैसेज करेंगे, कमेंट करेंगे क्या मेरा वॉइस क्लियर जा रहा है? एस नो, सिर्फ एस नो चाहिए मुझे। वॉइस क्या मेरा क्लियर है तो एस लिखेंगे, अगर नहीं है तो नो लिखेंगे। ठीक है, जल्दी बताइए फटाफट सभी बच्चे। जो भी बच्चे जुड़े हुए हैं बताएंगे मेरा वॉइस क्लियर है या नहीं। चलिए। The things is something here. If it is not found before the evening, we will dismiss. You neglect of the garden and the loans is responsible for all these dreadful things coming in. Some some neighbors dropped in. They looked accusingly at Dasa. Accusingly at Dasa. You have the laziest servant on earth, they said. He ought to keep the surroundings tidy. देखो आउट टू आज हम पढ़ाए थे बच्चे को. देखो आउट टू के बारे में पढ़ाए थे. देखो आउट टू यहाँ आ रहा है. देखो आउट टू जो मॉडल्स पढ़ाए थे 12th वाले बच्चे को. देखो आउट टू. ही आउट टू कीप द सराउंडिंग टिडी. चाहिए उसे क्या करना चाहिए? सराउंडेड को क्या करना चाहिए? साफ सुथरा रखना चाहिए. आई हैव बीन आस्किंग for a grass cutter 4 months, Dasa said. In one voice, they ordered him to manage with the available things and learns not to make demands. He persisted. They began to speculate how much it would cost to buy a grass cutter. A neighbor declared that you could not think of buying any article made of iron till after the war. He chanted banalities of wartime prices. The son of the house asserted that he could get anything he wanted at controlled prices. The neighbor became eloquent one black market. A heated debate flowed. The rest was in apathy. At this point, the college boy of the house butted in with, I read in an American paper that 3,000 people die of snakes bite every year. Mother threw up her arms in horror and arrogant Dasa. The boy elaborated the statistics. I have worked it out. 83 a day. That means every 20 minutes someone is dying of cobra bite, as we have been talking here. One person has lost his life somewhere. Mother nearly screamed on hearing it. The compound looked sinister. The boys brought in bamboo sticks and placed one into the hands of the servant also. He kept desultorily poking it into the foliage with a cynical sneer. The fellow is beating about the bush, someone cried apathy. They tucked up their dhotis, seized every available knife and crowbar and began to hack the garden. Creepers, bushes and lawns were laid low. What could not be trimmed was cut to the root. The inner walls of the house brightened with the unobstructed glare streaming. नंबर 3 में आ जाइए. And all beggar cried for alms at the gate. They told her not to pester when they were engaged in a snake hunt. On hearing it, the old woman became happy. You are fortunate. It is God Subramania who has come to visit you. Don't kill the snake. Mother was in a hearty agreement. You are right, I forget all about the Abhisekam. This is a reminder. She gave a coin to the beggar who promised to send down a snake charmer as she went. As she went, presently an old man appeared at the gate and announced himself as a snake charmer. They gathered around him. He spoke to them of his life and activities and his power over snakes. They asked admiringly, "How do you catch them?" Thus, he said, punching upon a hypothetical snake. On the ground, they pointed the direction in which the cobra had gone and asked him to go ahead. He looked helplessly about and said, "If you show me the snake, I will at once catch it. Otherwise, what can I do the moment you see it again? Send for me. I live nearby." He gave his name and address and departed. Number 4 number paragraph आइए. 5 in the evening. They threw away their sticks and implements and retired to the veranda to rest. They had turned up every stone in the garden and cut down every grass, blade and shrub, so that the tiniest insect coming in the garden should have no cover. They were loudly discussing the various measures they would take to protect themselves against reptiles in the future. When Dasa appeared before them carrying a water pot whose mouth was sealed with a slab of stone, he put the pot down and said, "I have caught him in this. I saw him peeping out of it. I saw him before he could see me." He explained at length the strategy he had employed to catch and seal up the snake in the pot. They stood at a safe distance and gazed on the pot. Thus I had the glow of a champion on his face. "Don't call me an idler hereafter," he said. "Mother complimented him on his sharpness and wished she had placed some milk in the pot as a sort of religious duty." Thus I picked up the pot accusingly and walked off, saying that he would leave the pot with its content with the snake charmer. Living nearby, he became the hero of the day. They watched him in a great admiration and decided to reward him adequately. Number 5 में आ जाइए. It was 5 since Dasa was gone when the youngest son cried, "See there!" Out of a hole in the compound wall a cobra emerged. Glided along towards the gate, paused for a moment to look at the gathering in the veranda with its hood half open. It crawled under the gate and disappeared along a drain. When they recovered from the shock, they asked, "Does it mean that there are 2 snakes there?" The college boy murmured, "I wish I had taken the risk and knocked the water pot from Dasa's hands. We might have known what it contained." तो ये क्या हो गया हमारा लास्टली फैक्ट क्या हो गया यहाँ पे, ये हमारा ख़त्म हो जाता है, ये द एंड हो जाता है, द एंड हो जाता है. अगर आप लोग को एमसीक्यू चाहिए तो आप लोग कमेंट मैसेज कर सकते हैं, जो सर इस चैप्टर का एमसीक्यू चाहिए तो मैं आपको एमसीक्यू दूंगा, मैं एमसीक्यू प्रोवाइड करूँगा हमारे वीडियो में. तो ये 5 चैप्टर तक था, ये आपको रीड करके मैं कंप्लीट कर दिया. मैं अभी फिर से लाइव आऊँगा, फिर से अभी जस्ट लाइव आऊँगा और उसमें मैं +2 ब्रिटिश इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन का चैप्टर 11 में अभी डिस्कस करूँगा आपके साथ.